UFC 6 is trash. There is no other way to go about this. I am not gonna sit here, buy UFC 6, play UFC 6, pay for the product, and tell you it's trash. I'm not gonna buy it. Alright, I've seen enough YouTube videos to make a proper determination of how trash the game is. And yeah, I'm not Plyox Shill, alright, I'm not Marsh Shill Mind, alright, I'm not Nibality Shill. Okay, I'm not gonna buy this game. I'm not gonna tell you that it's, oh yeah, no, that's a good game, no, it has some cool features. No, unacceptable. Unacceptable. For 3 years, the product that they delivered is unacceptable. And by the way, UFC 5 looks a lot better to me. I mean, UFC 6 has like some AI generated, assisted, like maybe face models, right? Which kind of cheats the system, right? They didn't do anything. And yeah, like okay, the one and only feature, the one and only new feature that they have is you know, fighter fidelity, right? Or what do they call it? Basically, they captured like maybe what, a handful of fighters like motion graphics for like a handful of animations, right? A couple of strikes, and that's it. That doesn't make the game different. That does not make the game different. It's that's not something that's worth like 3 years of waiting. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna. It's not even the developers, right? People are gonna hate on the devs. Like I only hate on the director, right? I'm not gonna hate on the actual devs themselves. They do their jobs, right? But it's the director, number one, for lacking the creativity to be able to steer the game in a direction that is actually, where you can actually gain many features within the limited time frame and scope and budget that they have. I don't know why this guy's not playing anymore. Yo, you good, my boy? But also before that, it's the investors, right? The stakeholder. I don't know why this guy just quit. The stakeholders, okay? The stakeholders, right? UFC. I'm not gonna lie, it's a dead sport. It's a bit of a dead sport. It's like even right now, like the product as a whole is dead, and so there's not a lot of money in the UFC, and so I'm sure that EA Sports does not allocate a huge part of the budget to EA Vancouver or whatever, wherever they make the game. But still, even still, as the director of the development of the game, you can take the limited budget that they've given you and allocate the resources in a intelligent way, in a creative way, and make an actual good game. I bet you that the budget that they had to make this game is at least 3 or 4 times bigger than UFC Undisputed 3, and that game has zero motion, capture. It doesn't have great graphics, but it's still a much better game. There's a mod out there that kind of ups the graphics a little bit and ups a bit of like the game mechanics, and it's one of the best UFC games ever. I wish I had I have a PC, I have a game development laptop, right? I have a game computer. I'm not trying to expose myself, you know what I mean? Like, I got some moins, you know what I mean? I got my bread up, you know what I mean? I got my funny down. Anyways, back to the point. No, UFC 3 trash game. There is no justifying buying that game at full price. There's no justifying 3 years. Okay, let's look at the grappling. Let's break this down. Let's do some system design, right? Some system engineering. Let's break this down into features, right? Feature number one, we spoke about it. The striking fidelity. What did you have to? And by the way, it's only a handful. Don't let them fool you. They only motion captured a handful of fighters. So okay, motion capture. Let's say that takes like, I'd say a month, right? A month in total time, right? I know there's like scheduling and everything. A month of total time of motion capture, and included in that month, mapping out the motion capture to the game points, right? To the controls and the models and whatnot. So yeah, I'm giving you a month. All right, 1 month out of 36. Great. Let's see, what are the other features? Online, what did they change? They just changed some settings, a couple of configuration files that determine like who you can play as. The whole, oh yeah, they made a big deal about, oh, you can choose who you fight as online. Yeah, okay, that's a simple configuration file. That's like a 2 week. I'm gonna give you 2 weeks, and that's being generous. You know what I mean? That could probably be done within like 3 days. If we're talking about like integrating cursor or cloud code or whatever. That's like, okay. What's the other new feature? Oh, career mode, right? Trash, absolute dog shit. Career mode is missing a whole section that was already available in UFC 5, which is I think like making your way up from like the indie league to the actual promotion. No, you just start in the UFC. What did they add? Legacy? Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense. It's just exhibition matches with cutscenes. All right, let's think. What else? Online? Did they do anything? Did they? I thought they made like a You know how NBA has like a court mode where you can like, I don't know, run around a bunch of open courts and join games? Yeah, they don't have that in the UFC, do they? Nope, trash. So what did they add? What did they add? Oh, flow state. Oh, okay. Let's think about this. I swear on my life, if I don't make a video in the next like year, then you know that I was wrong. But flow state, what is that? You just click down and then you get like a couple of stat boosts and a silly, disgusting, terrible UI graphic that was so bad that they forced the developers to make it toggleable. Oh yeah, and by the way, they ruined the graphics. They made the game look like a mobile game, right? This is a syndrome I call the doing too much syndrome, the incompetent, let me contribute something to the project just so I can have some visibility syndrome. This is like some corpo speak, right? If you guys are deep in the matrix, you guys understand this. But basically, some dude just decided, yeah, let me just like act like I'm contributing, and they just just flipped arbitrarily a couple of lighting options in the game engine, and if you like maybe adjusted the camera a little bit, and they said, yeah, this is my contribution for the 3 years. I wish I worked at EA. I wish I worked at EA Vancouver, bro. I could do 2 weeks of work and that'll suffice for like 3 years, bro. I'm getting 3 years pay for 2 weeks of work. Like, please, I'm gonna apply there. I'm gonna be doing the leak codes, right? I'm gonna be doing like little projects to build up my portfolio. I'm gonna become a game dev, right? So easy, bro. So easy, especially with that Saudi money. Like, they're gonna be chilling even better. It's so easy to fool those people, by the way. And by people I mean stakeholders. So yeah, I mean, like, what a complete joke. Honestly, what's really happening is that the game studio, it's just basically what UFC and the fight game consistently suffers from, which is a abhorrent amount of fraud. Even the UFC is starting to go down the route of boxing, where there's a lot of corruption and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it has seeped into the game itself, and we can see this when we're playing UFC 4.2. And the thing that I find crazy, the thing that it's just hard for me to fathom, is that I'll go on YouTube, I'll look up UFC 6 is trash. Is UFC 6 trash? UFC 6 review. I haven't seen a single one, not a single one. Not a single one, not a single person just completely trashing the game. You guys remember, like, when what was it? I don't remember I think it was UFC 5 or something. I don't know. But like, it was Undisputed, right? It was a boxing game, and it was pretty bad. And all the YouTubers collectively agreed. And I'm talking like big guys, small guys, you know what I mean? Everyone was dogging on it, you know what I mean? And that's a yearly game. At least you guys get like a yearly release, where you can get some updates every year, the updates that UFC 6 got is not even worth like a 6-month like patch. Get out of here with that nonsense. But anyways, have not found a single YouTuber hating on it, so I am here to fill the gap. I am here to fill the demand. There is a market for it, but nobody is filling the gap. This is the video that makes me go viral. I can tell I'm manifesting it, okay? I'm manifesting it. I am manifesting it through the power of hate and negativity and toxicity, okay? That's me. That's the mayhem era. But real talk, yeah, I just, like, most people are getting shilled. I'm sure they're getting, like, a lot of money to praise it, or a lot of money, like, look at even the way they advertise the game. Nothing, no promo, no trailer, no teases. We got like maybe a small announcement. Like when you have to present and you hide behind, like, you're hiding behind, like, I don't know, a teammate or something like that. And you're like, yeah, blah blah. You don't want to be seen. That's how EA was. EA Vancouver was for UFC. They didn't want to be seen. Yeah, they announced it just to announce it, but they did not want to be seen because they know how trash the game is. They had nothing to promote. So yeah, I mean, 3 years, guys, 3 years, and like, was UFC 5 even a great upgrade from UFC 4? No, not really. UFC 4 was like the beta, the alpha. UFC 5 is the beta, and then UFC 6 is like the second iteration on the beta. You know what I mean? Like the equivalent of 6 lines of code changed, and then demoing it to like your team leads or whatever a week later. I ain't got no more words, fellas. That's all I got. I just want to say that UFC 6 is absolute dog shizzle. and it's not worth it. Don't buy it. Wait for a sale. All you're getting is some updated striking animations. That's it.